James Dean was an American film actor whose impactful career was cut short by his untimely death in 1955 at age 24. He only starred in 3 major films, East of Eden, Rebel Without a Cause, and Giant, all which were released between the years 1955 to 1956. With just 3 major performances, he planted a legacy where audiences, colleagues, friends, and family continue to reminisce on their lasting impressions of the young talent's soul, suggesting that James Dean was a deeply sensitive person. And with that, we begin to understand how his vulnerability distinguished him from most other actors. From early childhood, Dean embraced the world of art, encouraged by his mother, studying the violin, playing in concerts, and tap dancing on theater stages. He had a close relationship with his mother, unlike that of his father. She sadly passed away from cancer when he was 9 years old, and so his father gave him up to his aunt and uncle in Fairmount, where they raised him as their own, and he led a seemingly normal adolescent life. Despite being a good student and an overachiever in athletics, his teacher noticed bouts of melancholy, mood swings, and stubbornness. He was always considered an outsider, and classmates gave him the unsavory nickname, Orphan Boy. These insecurities would plague Dean throughout his life, manifesting in his performances, at a time when he was turning into a world sensation and icon. In his first major film, East of Eden, released in April 1955, he played a recluse teen, Cal Trask, desperately seeking his father's love and approval. The father is played by a veteran actor, Raymond Macy, who comes from the classical acting era, where the technique primarily focuses on precision and control. James Dean, on the other hand, was on the rising wave of actors using the method acting technique, an emotion-oriented technique brought about by fully inhabiting the role of the character. According to the director Elia Kazan, Macy despised Dean and had a very difficult time working with him due to their differences in their acting approach. But Kazan loved this and did nothing to dispel it. Ironically, Macy would later say Adam Trask, the father, was one of the best roles he ever played on film. In the birthday scene where Cal gives his father money he made from selling beans, his father reacts with utmost disappointment. After Macy delivers the line, "Don't be angry, son. If you want to give me a present, give me a good life. That would be something I could value." The screenplay originally writes that Cal picks up the money, gives a loud and agonized scream, and then runs out of the room. But James Dean does something else, and this evokes a genuine reaction from Raymond Macy, allowing the audience to beautifully feel the tension and raw emotions transcend off of the screen.
Cal! Cal!
Less than a year after filming East of Eden, James Dean plays another troubled 17-year-old, this one named Jim Stark in the film Rebel Without a Cause. Jim Stark is a delinquent whom, no matter how hard he tries or no matter where his family moves towns, manages to attract trouble and destroy whatever good he wants to preserve. The film tackled themes of family dysfunction and moral decay of American youth. They were revolutionary concepts for cinema that helped escalate Dean's fame and image, forming a life of its own. His performance became a major symbol in an era where teenagers felt neglected and looked to music and film as inspiration to rebel.
You ain't nothing but...
The persona Dean formed as Jim Stark was unshakably reflected in the musicians during the dawn of rock and roll. In the scene where Jim Stark comes home after the tragic Cheeky run to beseech his father for advice, he's left disappointed by his parents' lack of handling the situation. It's a moment where the American youth is tragically seen through the raw emotions and frustrations demonstrated by James Dean. His work with the older generation of actors resonated attention off the screen when they genuinely couldn't understand Dean's new approach of acting. Combine this with real teenagers finally seeing the gap between parents and their children, questioning their authority, forged James Dean's vulnerability in his red jacket into an anti-hero the teenage rebellion needed to look up to. In his third and final film, Giant, Dean plays a Texan farmhand, Jet Rink, who strikes oil and turns into a tycoon overnight. He is rival to Bick Benedict, played by Rock Hudson, a successful cattle rancher who marries Leslie Linton, played by Elizabeth Taylor. By the time Giant was released, James Dean had already died in a car accident, and despite not being the leading star in the film, his shadow looms large across this epic. One last time, Dean not only displays the remarkable ability to pull from his inner turmoil to evoke the true emotions of his character, but with a more quiet performance, he showcases his expertise in listening and awareness to his environment, subtly drawing an audience's gaze towards him. Like a baby learning by observation from their parents, James Dean's awareness of each actor brilliantly transcends his performance. Watch as he contemplates whether to accept a bribe from Bick, money to buy him out of land left to him by Luz Benedict that may just be sitting on an ocean of oil. He continuously goes back and forth from listening to reacting.
There it is. There it is, boy. And it's all yours. Sure is. Amen. Amen.
With the nature of his passing, it becomes difficult to equate James Dean's limited screen time to how long his legacy will keep standing. Society tends to form stars like Dean into larger-than-life, martyr-like figures by how soon and more brutally life takes them. It's then very important to remind ourselves and bear witness to his efforts as a performer, and we hope that by looking back on these key scenes, James Dean's raw power leaves a longer-lasting impression on you.